I'm Jeremy Brassington, CEO of the NX3 Technologies Group. We're here to tell you about our company and the exciting journey that we're on. And I'm going to introduce you to the executive team of the company. We have Daniel Gertz, who's Chief Executive of the North American operation based in Toronto. We have Robin Matthews, who's Chief Operations Officer based in the UK, and Alan Greenberg, who's a resident of London, who is our technology advisor and a non-executive director of the NX3 board.
Thank you, Jeremy. I want to have a conversation with the three of you and just to explore some of the work we're doing and to share some insights into the company. I mean, Jeremy, starting with you. I mean, creating a hardware service software business is challenging. It's a major business decision. Tell me a little bit about our competitive advantage. Tell me why you went down the hardware software route.
If you'd asked me 10 years ago if I wanted to start a software business and have it in conjunction with a services business and a hardware business, I'd have said you're absolutely nuts. You either do software or you do hardware or you do services. We came together some years ago with a software business. We grew that, integrated it with the services business, and then realized that the customer wanted a completely integrated solution. So in that event, you have to have hardware. So rather than going to other manufacturers to try and integrate something that is difficult to integrate, we had to start from scratch. We had to build our own. And fortunately, I had an experience of building a hardware business in my previous company and was therefore in a great position to actually implement it. The competitive advantage it gives us is that we can go to a customer and say, right, we have everything that you need. It's totally integrated and it does the job that you want us to do. It solves the problem that you have today. And you don't have to go to multiple vendors to acquire the technology and support that you need.
But let's talk a little bit about the nitty-gritty of this. I mean, Daniel, can you share a little bit about insights into the work and collaboration we're building with George Brown and why this whole evolved from simple note-taking into a much more holistic approach to how note-taking can have an impact in the classroom and generally within the education space?
Yes, so we've worked really closely with our partners, George Brown College being one of them, which is located in Toronto, Canada, downtown. And we work with them because they want to be the first UDL school, which is a universal design for learning. And so what that does is it takes the something like a note-taking, which all students need, and gives them, every student, a professional copy of those notes and allows them to have more intelligent notes that they can compare with their own. So it's a model that we're really looking for. So we've, as alluded, we have a hardware system that works well with the COVID solution, which helps digitalize the classroom as well and provide the scalable service, which, so we secured that contract with George Brown, which also secures us with a six-figure revenue line with them that will increase as we build up our offerings to them. And so, yeah, we work very closely with them.
Correct if I'm wrong. I think that there's another piece to this equation which is particularly interesting from an investment point of view and also from a scale-up point of view. That not only have you secured a major contract with a major organization in Canada, but you've also secured a major grant capability to support this. And that grant is inextricably linked to building out, innovating, supplying the capability to support the client and obviously multiple clients over time. Tell us a little bit about the grant piece of this.
Yeah, so we secured a grant with the National Research Council of Canada, the IRAP program, and they support innovative companies and really support the cost of development. So our developers, and it helps us attract really good developers and talent from some really big companies. So we have already been poaching from IBM, RBC Bank Canada. So those, and they're really showing an interest in the brand of our company, what we're doing in changing education. That really excites these people to join our company.
But the interesting thing about this, I mean, Robin, is we have a client, we have a need, we have a requirement, we have an analog business which is about taking notes, and that service is already a proven revenue stream for the company. But I think that this grant and the work we are innovating on is about driving intelligent notes. And those intelligent notes are a play around driving AI, driving data, driving meta tagging. Tell us a little bit about how you see that and how you position that for the company, please.
Well, it's very interesting because the note-taking business started back in 2014. And even last year, when we were meeting the demand in September of 2019, it was essentially an analog system that was reliant purely on the highly skilled cohort of human note-takers we have. Fast forward, a year to where we're expecting a lot of demand. We're now able to integrate technologies and not least artificial intelligence into the process. And what that does is not only enhances your ability to scale up, but it also enhances your potential profitability, because what you're doing is you are bringing technology into the process and allowing note takers gradually to move into the quality assurance role, which gives them much greater satisfaction of what they're doing. Meanwhile, the technology, be that providing automated transcription to help the note taker now or over time through the collection of huge amounts of data and volume of lecture content, establish hierarchies of importance in that, and so create automated notes. And at that point, the technology is doing the bulk of the work, while the note takers are attending to what is the hallmark of the business, which is the quality.
So, if I wanted to conclude and pull a synopsis together, is it not about driving a personal learning journey for the individual? Is it not pivoting to actually support the consumer in their learning journey? And those are learners, they can be at school age, they can be homeschooling, they can be within enterprise and distributed networks. Our consumers, our ultimate users of our capability are actually the individual rather than necessarily focusing on the enterprise. So we have a personal learning opportunity of providing resources to those learners. We also have the ability through the platform to build a repository of knowledge. So effectively, each individual, through his or her note-taking, is actually driving a knowledge database of their interaction to their learning exercise, their learning resources. So one's getting a picture of their own personal repository and their own personal learning journey. And isn't that ultimately what the intelligent notes deliver and how we impact our customers and society generally? Daniel, would you like to comment on that or add something to that?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's the more individualized learning can be, the more it leads students to finding employment, which is a big reason why they're attending colleges and universities in North America.
Okay. And Jeremy, just to give you a final word on this, the challenges to make this successful, is it not about building great teams, building great people? We have a distributed team in terms of the fact we have already management in more than one continent in the world. Give us some vision of what you see around the challenges and where you want to take the company in the coming weeks and months.
Yeah, I think you're right, Alan. I think one of the biggest challenges we have had to date is we're a relatively small company, and recruiting top-class talent is always very difficult. We've suddenly seen a sea change in terms of the potential for hiring really good people. And I think once we've raised the finances that we need to bring in, enhance the A team, if you like, to make sure that we can deliver on all the objectives that we have for the company in the next 12 to 18 months.
But is it also the case, I think, that if we were having this conversation maybe 15 or 16 weeks ago, we would still be enthusiastic about where we're taking the company? Is it not also true to say that the circumstances around COVID or post-COVID and the world we're moving into with distributed networks in employment, with homeschooling in terms of schools, with the ability to drive a different engagement through HR and employment, is this not the perfect storm and the perfect opportunity for a company like NX3 to come together and to build and scale up our business?
Absolutely. There's been a huge acceleration of a number of the change programs taking place in the US and Canada in particular. And I think a lot of the solutions that are being put out into the market using Zoom or Teams as a platform really don't yet address the problem. How can
and of course we plug into these capabilities. We have the ability to not only to go directly to consumers, we also have the ability to be a plug-in for other technology companies. So thank you all for your comments. I mean, it's hopefully insightful to the people listening to this interview. And just to say, if people want a deeper dive into the company, the background, the due diligence, the aspirations we have for the company, we'd be only too happy to share a further conversation and discuss it in greater detail. Thank you.